I call the 1,553rd meeting of the General Student Senate to order. First, I will read the land acknowledgement. The University of Maine student government recognizes that it is located on Marsh Island in the homeland of the Penobscot Nation, where issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot homeland is connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Passamaquoddy, Maliseet, and Micmac, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. The University of Maine student government also recognizes that the Penobscot Nation and the other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination. Next, the clerk will call the roll.
Ethan Crawford.
Excused.
Cynthia Shelburne.
Excused.
Nate Finn. Memphis Peterson.
Here.
Jordan Thompson.
Excused. Sorry.
Neil Rocky. Nate Temper. Here. Dave Buzzell.
Here.
Samuel Brown.
Here.
Allie Warren. Here. Elizabeth Oldfield. John Bone.
Here.
Zoe Snake-Tibbetts. Here. Dr. Harvey.
Here.
James Reader Stewart.
Here.
Bo Mishu. Meredith Waters. Darren Martone.
Here.
Kyle Ricker. Tom Jernigan.
Here.
Tim Berger.
Here.
Alan Howard. Here. Michael LaLorge.
Here.
Keegan Tripp.
Here.
Paige Allen. Here. Miles Moore.
Here.
Julian Oberg. Here. Jacob Chaplin.
Here.
Hope Carroll.
Excused.
Camden Olson.
Here.
Olivia Britton. Here. Riley Mills.
Here.
Tristan French.
Here.
Amanda Levesque. Here. Jacob Marquis.
Here.
Hannah Blanchett.
We'll be sending a proxy, but excused.
Natalie Pullen. Here. Joe Guzman. Proxy of the Gomez. Emery Clifford. Here. Pascal Ed. Here. Dylan DeMarcho.
Here.
Danny Tanaka.
Here.
Lori Sedilio. Here.
Before we continue, Senator Waters is also excused. We will now be moving on to the approval of the minutes and the agenda. Senator Peterson.
Move to approve the 2/27/2024 minutes and this.
If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now be moving on to our Robert's Rules tip of the week. This week is a suspension of the rules. If a member needs to deviate from the regular order of the business to address a specific matter, he or she can move to suspend the rules for special orders. To do so, the member says, I move to suspend the rules to consider blah, 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 blah. Another member must second the motion, and the motion to suspend the rules has to have a 2/3 vote to pass. We will now move on to general good and welfare. Any non-member may address the GSS for not more than 5 minutes. Once. Twice. All right. Moving on to new senators, officer appointments, and resignations. Will the following people stand up for me, please? Zoe, can you pronounce your name for me?
Stankovitz.
Stankovitz, awesome. All right. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Zoe Stankovitz,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and uphold
that I will support and uphold
the Constitution of Student Government, Inc.
the Constitution of Student Government Inc.
and all other rules and guidelines
and all other rules and guidelines
to which I will be held.
to which I will be held.
Further, I swear
Further, I swear
to well and faithfully discharge
to well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter
upon which I'm about to enter,
while representing my constituency
while representing my constituency
and the University of Maine.
and the University of Maine.
Congratulations. We'll now be moving on to club maintenance, starting with the Wilson Center for Peace and Progress for final recognition. Oh, Vice President Over.
They all be attending tonight, they have decided to kind of like table themselves indefinitely, but I did not find out about this until 1 p.m. Which was actually attendance was printed, so they're not coming.
Okay. Moving on to computing for final recognition. Do we have a speaker? Perfect, you can take the podium.
Yep, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Chaco. I am the president and representative of the Computing Club. I'm going to talk a little bit about the goal and why we decided to create the computing club. We focus mostly to try to support as much as we can the computer science students as well as new media and other students that are interested in computer science. The whole spectrum of computer science as a major has different elements to it. We need to prepare, learn different skills such as coding, interview preparations. So in order to have this support for the students, we decided to create the computing club. Some of the initiatives we've taken with this club is providing different lectures and different events for the students, as well as trying to focus more on creating panels of different people that have currently graduated from the computer science department and try to give more help and direction for the students. Currently, we have around 50 plus active students that frequently join our events and our lectures. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, all right. Do we have any questions for our speaker? Senator Ricker?
Do you have a regular meeting space and time?
Yes, we meet in the Neville Hall 108, Mondays, at 5:30. Our nature of the group also focuses on different tracks. We have web development tracks as well as AI development, tracks. So, we have, let's say, like smaller, groups of the students that focus on different, topics, and then they meet on different days. And I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays and kind of, which is whenever students are available. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions for the speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
400 ought to pass.
Senator Peterson?
I move to accept the committee's recommendations.
Second. If that's the pledge of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into a period for discussion. Vice President Over.
No problem with this club at all. They submitted their paperwork on time. They waited their 7 academic weeks. And now they are eligible for final recognition, in which they've met all of the requirements.
Any other points for discussion? Seeing none, points for debate. Representative Levesque?
I think this is a really important club for us to be promoting and bringing to full recognition, final recognition. I personally know a lot of computer science majors as well as computer and technology and mechanical engineering majors who I know this would absolutely benefit. And also I've been an RA in a building where there is a computer science LLC, and I know that having access to such a great group like this run by such great people is really important for that community, and I think we should fully support it.
Any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. All right, for the clubs who presented, you can feel free to leave or stay, up to you guys. If you guys missed my message to the Senate space, unfortunately, Jeffrey Mills will not be joining us tonight. He had a trip to Portland, it was kind of last minute, so that's why he is not here. So we will begin with executive report, starting with the president.
Apologies. Good evening, everyone. This past Friday, as I mentioned in last week's report, I visited, or I attended the Alumni Association board meeting. This is a quarterly board meeting where the Alumni Association kind of just reports on what they're doing. And I get to give a report of, like the student body and also of student government. Before the board meeting, they set up a tour of the new hotel on campus, Hotel Ursa, for the board, the Alumni Association board. So I got to attend that. Hotel Ursa actually opened today. They have 95 rooms in 2 historic buildings on campus, and they built a 3rd building to accompany those 2. There has been some, I guess, there's been some frustration from the student body about these hotels because the university put, I believe it was $500,000 into the hotels recently. I was very impressed though with what I saw in the opening of the hotel. I think it's a great benefit to our campus, but I have voiced to administrators so far and will continue to do so that we should be putting money and resources into our dormitories and our facilities for students. And that this is nice, but I think the housing study that the university is doing is much needed, and that while we're finding spaces for guests to stay, we also need to be increasing the quality of our facilities for students. And I'll continue to voice that, but I do want to say I'm very proud to have Hotel Ursa on our campus and what it will bring to like the greater community and visibility of our campus. I think it's really important. And I'd encourage all of you to like check out the website, check out the facilities. And if you have any questions about it, I'm happy to answer. I also, like I said, gave a report at the Alumni Association board meeting and kind of told them what we were up to. They were very impressed with our student government. I voiced some concerns about dining and some other more general concerns about student life on campus. They also would like to be added to our weekly newsletter, all of the board members, which I think is cool. So they're going to be engaging with us a little bit more, kind of learning what's going on in the student body. I'm also going to be working soon on an alumni newsletter. The first of 2 issues for this semester. The first one will kind of focus on updates of the student body and what student government is doing. If there's anything that you want included from your committee or in general on that, please let me know. The second one will kind of be a transition to any graduating seniors, whether you're a senator, representative, or executive, kind of like what our people are going on to do, kind of engaging alumni that way. Last part of my report, we had, as I have mentioned in a couple past reports, the esports arena memorandum of understanding has expired. And we've signed a new MOU, good for 1 year, that will kind of continue our obligation to, as a Senate, to funding repairs or maintenance to the esports arena. So we didn't commit to any specific dollar amount, but as we voted on, I think last semester, it's now the Senate's discretion what we fund for the esports arena. So if any of you want to learn more about that or feel strongly about that at all, please let me know. We're going to be issuing some surveys. Vice President Moore is working on some events and like gaming tournaments with the esports arena. So you're going to be hearing a lot more about that soon. But it's a very cool student government initiative that we helped kind of get on the ground recently. And in collaboration with the university, I'm excited to see where it goes in the future. And that is the end of my report.
All right, we'll now be moving on to my report. I closed the gear survey. We got, well, I didn't entirely close it because I got a response today. But essentially the date for to fill it out has been, we passed that. And we got a few good responses, not as many as I'd like. But I'm going to be spending the break kind of compiling that into a little bit of a report for the stakeholders, and this for our meeting with Advisor Sedelko on the topic. So get excited about that. I intend to make some pretty good strides on this when we return from break. So that's pretty cool. Also, this will be the first meeting uploaded to YouTube. So everybody say hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. So that's super exciting. Less of a reaction that I wanted, but hey, so that's super exciting. That'll start now, and we're working to perpetuity, so that's cool. Next, VPSL chaplain and I had a great meeting regarding the syllabus bank project. Super big stride, but I'll let him kind of elaborate on that in his report. Next, I'm looking forward to finishing up my one-on-ones after break. This week is insanely busy for me and I couldn't do them this week, but I will be wrapping them up in the first week or so after break. Next, senator requirements. I want to remind all senators that they must sit on 2 committees / liaisonships, chair 1 committee, or sit on an executive committee. These are your requirements for our standing rules, and it is my responsibility to enforce them in my position. So I recommend that we kind of, if you're not already fulfilling that, that we work to fulfill those. If you are having any trouble with that, please let me know. I know some people have communicated with me. If you're communicating with me, you're totally fine. But I'm going to be emailing after the break again, each senator to make sure that they're fulfilling that, because it is required to maintain your seat. So just keep that in mind. And last thing, just a little housekeeping, please be nice when you put away the binders. Last time I had to spend an extra like 10 minutes taking them all out and putting them back. If you put them in and then you like reverse the order, they all fit eventually, but they did not all fit last time, so I had to reposition that, so please be nice to me. And that is the end of my report. We will move on to the Vice President of Financial Affairs.
Hi, everyone. Annual budget forms are due this Friday at noon. Thank you to those who have turned them in so far, and I'm looking forward to receiving the rest of them. The last chance for me to look at them is during my office hours or on Thursday, or by emailing me, and I'll probably get to it by the deadline. All rep boards, community associations, club sports officers, and internal UMSG folks, should expect to attend the EDC meeting when we get back from break on the 18th, and to present your budget as the first step. And I will be sending out a scheduling poll this week, most likely on Thursday, to those who have submitted. And then once you turn in your budget, you gain access to the scheduling poll. EDC on March 18th will only entertain annual budget requests, not unallocated funding requests, as we have a lot to do that day. So if you're planning an event or know someone is planning an event that needs funding from student government, please plan accordingly. And that information is also up on our website. BOT rep Britton and I, I'm wrong. BOT rep Britton and I have set up a meeting every couple of weeks with CFO and Chief Business Officer Kelly Sparks. We will provide student voice on current projects and may ask certain rep boards or senators to attend meetings if we're discussing topics related to committees or groups on campus, something like that. Obviously, when she came last week, she oversees a lot of things, so we are going to set up that meeting to sort of keep up with what she is working on. I'm drafting up Sean's contract and we'll bring it to him to review shortly after spring break. The contract will need to be approved by the Senate before Sean and some of the execs have the chance to sign it, but just know that that is still being worked on. The next cheer, athletics, and student government meeting will take place the week of 3/25. I'm planning on helping cheer set up a meeting with the foundation after break to discuss a potential endowment for their program. And lastly, my position has been posted. If you have any general questions about my position, not specific application questions, please do let me know. And then my normal report, there is a misprint on unallocated. It's $96,716.72. An office budget tonight from Maine Outing Club, purchasing some cards for their members to ensure who's a dues paying member, and some stickers. Maine Outing Club has also requested a couple months rent for a storage unit that will be purchasing for them. The consent agenda passes. Baseball through the pay to play system, requested money for going to the batting cages because the dome is not available to club sports right now. And then you will be hearing from Maine Mass, CALSA, and the wrestling club later tonight. And a report.
Moving on to the Vice President for Student Organizations.
Hey, everyone, so we have SFC tomorrow, as usual, only like 2 clubs are coming, so it's that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but it shouldn't be that long, it's really more how I should have phrased it. And then I have been recently alerted to, some like cleanliness for clubs around campus. So I'll probably be in contact with our services chair, but I have been doing some like precursory emails. And if your club is experiencing like gear or, especially like rep boards, community associations, like if your spaces are not being cleaned by the university and they like arguably should be, like you should be taking care of your like for MSC, like they take care of cleaning their like backpacks and like, you know, broken whatever they need. But like the cans lounge couches haven't been cleaned in like decades, so like working on that. And so I'm just trying to kind of find the right people for that, but yeah, services chair, I will probably be reaching out to you as well, so we'll do it on that. If you guys want to work on my database and future proofing VPSO, because we needed an organized system and, we're working on that and a lot of that has to do with our DOT mills, being out. And I have weird office hours this week, so please consult the Senate space and or as always, please email me when we're gonna show up because I do have a lot of meetings this week. During like, and I do most weeks actually. So if you just email me, I will make myself available for you. Give you guys kind of have like priority, but if you don't email me and I'm in a meeting, I can't do anything about it at that point. So, email me, consult my weird office hours this week, and then we'll make something happen. End of report.
There it is. All right, moving on to the Vice President for Student Entertainment.
All right, so SEC, again, meeting on Fridays, 11 in my office. But not this Friday, because I'll be on an airplane. That very important announcement regarding the Maine Student Government Spring Comedy Show. It's probably going to be announced tomorrow, so get very excited. Also, we're looking at about 5 food trucks for the Maine Day of Service food situation on the mall. And a reminder, March 22nd, Mario Kart tournament, 5 to 8 in the esports arena. There will probably be pizza. End of report.
Moving on to the Vice President for Student Leadership.
Hey guys, so as VP Tripp mentioned, we met with Joey from IT in Fogler to talk about the syllabus bank repository. And he gave us a great breakdown of how to use SharePoint, a lot more detail than we honestly needed. So we're gonna be meeting soon, probably on Friday, to kind of go into that and start building our repository. And if any of you want to get involved with that, let me know or come to my committee tomorrow, because I'll be probably going into it a little bit with you guys. Again, my committee's meeting tomorrow at 11 in the offices. Some other things we're going over, the student speaker showcase. We've actually got some good reception and with about 8 applicants that we're gonna be going with, I think. The application isn't closed yet though, so still feel free to apply and send it around if you guys are interested. And yeah, we'll be discussing the details of the event tomorrow. And again, the event's gonna be taking place Thursday, March 21st at 2 p.m. in Wellness Conference Center. And we're also gonna be finalizing the leadership retreat workshop at SLC tomorrow, so if you want to get involved with that at all, come to that. And also, as VP Allen mentioned, if anyone's interested in my position at all and you want to set up a meeting with me to talk to me about what I do, how you can take advantage of the opportunity, and like any questions you might have, just feel free to reach out and report.
Moving on to the Advisor to Student Government.
I just hope everyone has a safe and wonderful break. That's it.
All right, are there any questions for the speakers? Senator Martel.
I have a question for you, VP Tripp. I thought last week's meeting was the first one to be on YouTube.
We did the video. Was it last meeting that the video got around?
I was sick last meeting.
Okay.
Meeting before that, the video, yeah.
Oh,
There was
maybe
no
that's
camera.
Yeah, this will be the first one uploaded, but I believe DOT Mills is going to also be working on fact loading. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not like we're just starting here. This is just the first one that will be uploaded. Yeah, right. Yeah.
How soon after each meeting will the YouTube video go up?
I'm gonna throw that back to DOT.
I don't know who asked that, but I will try. I will try as quickly as possible. Hopefully like within the next day or two. But if say, you need it now and it's not up there, feel free to email me and I got you.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll now move on to periodic reports, starting with the faculty, senate, student representative.
Hello, everyone. So the monthly faculty senate meeting that I'm allowed to go to is we will be discussing issues such as printing, fiscal year 2025 budget, tuition rates, and e-waste, among others. So if anyone has any specific targeted questions that they're able to share with me in advance of that meeting, please let me know. I'll be there. And
All right, University of Maine Board of Trustees, student representative.
Hello, I attended the ASA and HRLR meetings yesterday, so I kind of have a few things to say. The ASA main points were just a presentation on dining we did. Other campuses shared fairly similar concerns about Sodexo and like changes that they've seen this semester as we have seen and brought up. So that was interesting to me. And they're also doing similar, like Sodexo listening to students' programs right now to make improvements. Umpi now has a Mongolian grill, and USM now has spice racks in all of their dinings, which is kind of interesting. The faculty presentation was about post-pandemic teaching experience, and they were just saying that like their students are depressed and that it was like kind of a downer, I don't know. The main purpose of this meeting was the tenure approval meeting, which all happens in exec session, but that was approved in the regular session unanimously. And then in the HR meeting, they discussed strategic planning initiatives and said that the DEI initiative will be released next meeting. They decided, or they approved extending UMM president's contract by another 2 years. And then approved the committee working on new hiring documents that will be released in July. They're in the labor relations committee, a collective bargaining agreement is being established with the grad student union, with UAW, and then retirement policy changes are being made for the police union. And then there's an FFT meeting tomorrow and another one next week. And I'll attend those and upload my notes, and also all of my notes from the other 2 meetings are in UMSG Drive.
Moving on to the chair of the Fair Election Practices Commission. Okay, it's election week, you probably all know that. I sent out half an email of roughly 15,557 emails. The response rate for the audience size of 7,312 undergraduate students is 10%, so I might have to send some more emails. That's all I really have to say, send my report. Oh, and also all the candidates got their financial information in, so that's good. Dean Dana emailed people as well as me emailing people. I'll probably email people again on Friday. If people have questions, feel free to ask. Student legal representative.
So Sean has 2 new clients / court cases, they're both DUIs, so please don't drink and drive, or else we'll have to fire Sean. He's starting work on the February usage report, and we'll hopefully have that for next Senate. And he's also been working on contracts for the comedian and the drag show in the report.
Representative to the Graduate Student Senate.
So, I met with Harrison Goldsfield today, who's kind of liaison between UMSG and GSS. And I'm gonna be working with him we've set up a weekly meeting. I'm hopefully going to be saying about adding him to our Google group so he can have access to some of that. And we're gonna be sharing notes from minutes from each of our meetings to kind of facilitate like new communication between graduate student government and us. So that's going really well. I also might be gauging interest with you later, Keegan, to see about, Vice President Tripp, and to see about maybe having Goldsfield as a guest speaker sometime. But other than that, yeah, it was just mostly introducing ourselves and getting information.
Right, moving on to the Orono Town Council liaison.
During the public comment for the meeting that happened last night, a citizen of Old Town who is also affiliated with Citizens Climate Lobby wanted to introduce the idea of the city of Old Town sponsoring a resolution for a carbon-free cashback program. Second comment was from a representative of the city pantry discussing just statistics and new like fundraising, future fundraisers. The city also approved a permit for a new restaurant called Nanny's located on 241 Main Street in the report.
All right, Old Town City Council liaison.
Tomorrow will be my first meeting with the new hiring committee for town managers.
Was that switched?
Did I do it?
I think you switched them. I could be wrong. Did you say, which one has the restaurant approval?
Old Town.
Okay, so they were switched.
My
Okay,
bad.
okay, no, you're good. I just wanted to make sure, so there's no confusing. Representative of Military and Veteran Student Affairs, I have that. Give me a second. Okay. Senator Shelberdine says, sorry I can't be here tonight. I am currently at arms with my own immune system. Over the past week, I spoke with Troy Liarana, who oversees the Veteran Lounge, and I will start putting together a veteran paint sip activity. After consulting with our lawyer, I found that I cannot buy them Everclear as requested for the event. However, I will be putting together a painting step-by-step of a deer riding a rocket coming out of an explosion. In parentheses, this is what was asked of me. This was not my first idea. I have also put up the first weekly poll in the Veterans Lounge, which is exciting. Julian was gracious enough to let me borrow glue. I'll be in contact with Cadet Garrett and Engstrom from ROTC, and I may be involved with the other veteran volunteering opportunities in the future as he has recommended me to his military honors organization. I hope everyone has a fun and safe spring break and report. Moving on, the Director of Communications.
Hi, everyone. I've been working on advertising the job openings for the next school year, which are up on our Instagram. If you haven't seen them already, go check it out and share on all of your social medias. And then I've been continuing to work with VP Moore and announcing the upcoming comedy show, which will be announced tomorrow, and working with DOT Mills and designing thumbnails for the new YouTube videos. And
Moving on to Director of Technology.
Alrighty, so I don't really have much, but I'll just say, so far, I've gotten Senator Mishu's, access, that's perfect, okay. Paper cut tutorial thrown up there, as well as our recent debate, onto the YouTube channel, and if any of you are interested in watching that, you just go right to the elections page, and there's a lovely button for you to click, bring you right to there. Other than that, I've just been maintaining the page since election week. I feel like that's an important priority, and I plan to continue working with BPSO over to ease the update process on our website. And a report, there we go.
Moving on to University of Maine Security Representative.
All right, hi guys. So last week on Wednesday was my very first security meeting, so I got to kind of meet everyone and figure out kind of what was going on. So classroom, they're working on updating classroom locks right now. Those should be done by spring break. Over half of them are done as of last week, and they're doing quite a few per week, so I'm assuming it's much more than that now. They do monthly tests of the blue lights, which revealed that 2 were inactive. I'm not sure which 2, but quite a few of them appear to not be working super well. They're experiencing a lot of audio problems, which should be fixed soon. And the blue light in front of East Annex, because the East Annex is being torn down. So that blue light's going to be connected to another building in the area, but they're not going to be getting rid of it. They're also going to be updating security cameras in the Union and in the Hudson Museum. Any buildings without tap locks, like the ones that you tap your card on, will be updated soon. They're also looking at getting a system that will detect gunshots in an active shooting situation and then immediately report to dispatch in case of emergency. And they wanted to really emphasize that it would not be triggered by a hockey puck hitting the wall. They added that a few times, so no, nothing to worry about there. And
All right, Senator for the Undergraduate Research Liaison.
Hello, everyone. I met with the Symposium Executive Committee, the Symposium on Cougars side yesterday. They're sitting at 124 judges, but are looking for more faculty judges for the biomedical sciences section of it. They're also sitting at 14 volunteers. They're doing a lot more. There are 2 full days working volunteering. Setup takes place on Thursday, the 11th of April, and then staffing the event takes place on Friday the 12th. I did send an email out to Dale asking if he could end up sending the sign up link to sports clubs. I have not a response from him. I will work on ways to spread more word about this over the upcoming weeks. Abstracts were due yesterday, so the Cougar team is working hard to get all those sorted through and approved. I have a meeting with an undergrad who's running a new aspect of the symposium this year called UMSS Create. And we'll have more info on it after that meeting. I'm also meeting with Mindy Pelletier on Friday to determine what our location is going to be for the event, how much space we'll have to work with.
All right, are there any questions for the speaker, Senator Kemper?
I have a question for Chairman Olson. Do you know participation rates from previous year's elections as opposed to this year?
Yeah. Yes, I don't, this is a week, so I need to wait to the end of the week, but we've done better in these 2 days than we did
the election day last year. Any further questions? Otherwise, moving on to report of standing committees, starting with marketing and public relations.
No report.
Okay, membership. Anybody have a report? Okay, moving on to policy and procedure.
This past Friday, Polypro discussed and passed a resolution amending the standing rules regarding the student leadership and student entertainment divisions of student government. Those will be presented obviously at the end of new business.
Moving on to political activism.
Okay, senators, it's election day. Until 8 p.m., polls remain open at the council chambers on 59 Main Street in Arno. Voters at the university and in the town of Arno are deciding today whether to adopt a resolution that will move the municipal election date from November from March. They're also deciding on their preferences in the Democratic and Republican presidential primaries and for 3 open town council seats. The College Democrats tabled yesterday in support of UMaine students turning out in today's election and the proposed measure on the ballot. Neither the College Republicans nor the College Libertarians opted to submit a report this week. Senator Martone and I visited the Waldo County Democratic Party in Searsport on Saturday for an event aimed at encouraging youth participation in politics. And from now on, I'm holding office hours at 12:30 on Fridays over Zoom. I will send that link to the chat ahead of the scheduled time and report.
Moving on to services. No report. Okay, are there any questions for those speakers? Chairman Olson.
I have a question for you, oh my God, sorry, I had a really long week. Do you have a video plan for like the Apple version of printing? Because I feel like most students have Apple. I went on the YouTube and it was like very proficient.
What do you mean Apple printing?
Like, it's a different operating system, like between like a Mac or like a Windows computer. So I feel like, is there like an option to have like one for people who might have like a MacBook and they don't know how to print?
I personally don't own Mac, so I don't know if it'd be that different from the steps I put in the video. I don't know if it'd be extremely different. Like I said, I don't have a Mac, so I don't know how that operating system works. I was just wondering.
Any further questions? Going once, going twice. All right, moving on to reports of special committees, starting with academic affairs special committee. Does somebody have that report?
Oh yeah, I had that report. Okay, I'm attending another meeting on equitable access. This meeting is between AP Marzilli, the bookstore manager, and myself. There's nothing confirmed about new transcript software on campus. It was loaded that there would be new back-end software for calculating transfer credit equivalencies. I will be attending the Student Success Hub Task Force again on Wednesday. I am working with a friend to have a CANS Academic Affairs event. This event would be a guide to using Main Street. The date is Friday, the 22nd. If you know someone with academic issues, send them to my committee. Did this seem short? The rest of my report is in a PDF going to the Senate space and the report.
Moving on to the Student Mental Health Committee.
Hey, everyone. So the mental health committee will be meeting, this Friday and on Fridays moving forward from 2 to 3 p.m. in the, Mind Spa, which is downstairs in the Memorial Union. It's the, new Mind Spa space. If you guys haven't been to it, it's just 2 doors down from the old Mind Spa space. If you'd like to attend, I'd be happy to see you there and to work together on improving students' mental health moving forward. I also wanted to mention that Swell will be hosting their mental health, one of their mental health Mondays events when we are back from break. This event will be nap, tea, and chocolate, a relaxation event. This is in the Mind Spa from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You don't have to go for the whole time. You can just drop in and hang out for a bit, or you can stay around if you want, but either way. And I also just wanted to mention that with break coming up, for some people, this is a great time for rest and relaxation, and for some people, it can be stressful if they're going home to
family or a place that maybe feels less safe in school. So I just wanted to throw that out there to remind us to take care of ourselves with the upcoming break, and I hope that break was well for everyone.
Moving on to the undergraduate student symposium committee. Everyone in the committee, we discussed everything that was mentioned in my previous report, as well as working through questions and formats for the successful student panel. Of the 5 panelists, I sent 3 recommendations to Cougar, and they picked the 2 that they felt represented the most diversity. The first was Josh Watson, who was a leader in the ROTC program on campus, as well as a double major in history and politics. They also picked Clea Young, the president of the Black Bear Beekeepers, traditions chair for all Maine women, and a double major in UES and economics. The third panelist that they picked so far, her name is Laura Curioli. She's a member of the GSG and a participant in the symposium in her undergrad, as well as this year in her grad. I'll be talking with Cougar and GSG more about how to advertise this panel to the most students who can benefit from hearing about the panel's experiences. End of report.
Moving on to the Food and Dining Affairs Committee, does anybody have that report? All right, are there any questions for the speakers? Yeah, Senator Stewart.
Yes, Senator Clifford, so when you say the new mine spot, is that to the left of the Wade Center?
Yes, it's to the left of the Wade Center. And so if you know where the old mine spa was, it's to the left, just the same.
Is it,
And
because I tried to go to last week's meeting there, and there was no meeting.
I had a family emergency
Okay.
last week with my.
Okay. Does anybody know when the Food and Dining Affairs Committee meets? Because I've tried to email Senator Fang and I've gotten no response.
Before anybody else answers, I've also emailed Senator Fang, I'm getting no response, but I'm gonna follow up with him as soon as I can about responding. Yeah.
Yeah, so a point of information, the Food and Dining Committee, as far as I know, has been meeting at 12:30 on Fridays. If you tried to get me in touch last week, we didn't hold that, but I didn't find out until the day of. But as far as I know, we're gonna be meeting this coming Friday, and if you want that information put out there, I'll just put it in the Senate space, or just ask me and just add my contact, and I can just like put you right in towards Nate.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to you later.
All right, any further questions? All right, moving on to representative board reports, starting with commuter and non-traditional students.
Hey guys, how's it going? This last Thursday, we had a pizza recruitment day. A lot more members expressed interest in cans, and a lot more members said they want to attend. So I'm expecting a higher amount of cans members after spring break. Beyond that, I've been trying to work on a couple projects. Originally, I was working on trying to get fairy lights in the Wade Center. Commuter students had expressed interest that they wanted fairy lights in there, and the CMTSP beat me to it. They're trying to get a grant for that, so we could be getting new lighting in the Wade Center. Thank you. Beyond that, I am working on different projects. If you have any questions or concerns about cans, please let me know, and feel free to come and attend. We'd love to have you and a report. So,
moving on to the Honors College Student Activities Board.
There's a lot of numbers in this, so I apologize in advance. Last week, we did table it on Wednesday and Thursday. On Wednesday alone, we made about $400, so we got to just about 600, and as of right now, we have exactly $792.50 from just the raffle alone, which I want to thank you all for your support. I've seen some of the names in this room, and I want to say you're doing something really amazing by providing meals. Just as an aside, that number, the $792, is approximately 2,377 meals. So those are just getting added on to the already over 50,000 meals that we will be preparing. That is really awesome, and I want to thank you all again for that. We will also be doing a March Madness fundraiser. If any of you are in the Honors College, you might have seen that in the Honors Weekly. It is a poster, basically it's an email donation sort of thing that people can send to departments, family members, what have you. I will hopefully be reaching out to somebody to get that out to everybody in this room. So if you would like to spread that to the departments, feel free to do so. This Thursday, a couple of us will be going to the Old Town Rotary to also get funding. We're hoping to reach 55,000 meals with all of this. So that's the big hope. That's going to be at 6 o'clock and SAB is canceled from this. So if you're going to go to Colvin, nobody will most likely be there. Also tomorrow is the Toast Party, which is our first co-sponsored event with the Honors College from 3 to 4:30. That's very exciting. And then we'll also be officially doing a spring self-care on March 20th from 3 to 5 with Swell. We'll be with rock painting and a couple of other self-care activities that Swell will be organizing with us. And once again, just wanted to say thank you to everybody. You're helping something really awesome. And this is the first big May Day meal pack out since probably my freshman year. So you are doing something really incredible and report.
Moving on to the Interfraternity Council.
Alright, hi everyone, so the biggest thing I'm gonna talk about this week is our fraternity recruitment initiative that we're working on, so. As some of you might know, sororities, when they do recruitment, it's really formal. And fraternities are more informal with the recruitment, but we're trying to change that, make our recruitment formal as well, so what we're trying to do. Our goals here are to increase recruitment numbers, decrease recruitment difficulty, increase member retention rates, communicate realistic recruitment expectations of new members, and also increase communication and collaboration between chapters. So I'll provide more information on that in the future. We're hoping to implement that next fall. As far as Lambda Chi Alpha's conduct base goes, it's been sent to the University of Maine system, so I'll continue to provide updates on that as they come in. Representative Blanchette and I had great meetings with Lori and Dean Dana yesterday about the current state of Greek life, and we also had really productive conversations with President DeLorge and Vice President Tripp regarding the future of that UMSG and Greek life today.
Moving on to the Panhellenic Council. Does anybody have that report? Excellent.
We had our amnesty day last week and we got some items back that are in the process of being returned. We're gonna have another one at the end of the semester. Jacob and Hannah have been working on making Greek life more known to the incoming students and are brainstorming some events for the end of this semester and next semester. That's it.
Perfect. Yeah. Senior Class Council.
60 days until graduation and report.
Just a whole report.
Yeah, that's it.
Good enough. Student Athletic Advisory Council.
So we had our meeting yesterday, VP Tripp showed up, Memphis Peterson showed up, and Julian Ober showed up, very productive meeting. So like a lot of athletes are truly going to understand the importance of student gov, and just, trying to be involved in the community as well. Beyond that, women's basketball won the regular season America East Championship, so. Men's basketball is playing UMass Lowell right now. Hopefully they win, fingers crossed. Men's hockey is going to Hockey East Championships. Women's hockey, I think they lost. So you take what you need. Yeah, all the winter sports are having their postseasons and spring sports are starting up. So we'll see what's, going to come of that and report.
Excellent. All right. Are there any questions for the speakers? Going once. Going twice. Moving on to community association. All right. Community Association report, starting with Student Heritage Alliance Council.
Hello, everybody. Sorry. John does send his apologies and he couldn't be here tonight. He is sick. But I'm in his place. I'm the president of CALSA. My name is Emma, I'm also a SHAC representative. During our Wednesday meeting on February 28th, SHAC discussed primary line items to add to the yearly budget, including staple events such as the Friends and Family Feast. Before the SHAC meeting this Wednesday on today, actually. The executive board did meet to create a finalized draft to present to the board for approval before submitting it to FA Allen. The SHAC campus groups page has been updated with the most relevant information, such as officers, mission statements, logos, and etc. In our meeting, we also had a guest speaker, Kylie Michelle LaPlante, who is the DEI chair from the Salt Lake Eagles, to discuss a potential collaboration between the multicultural groups for a spring event that they have planned. So earlier this week, SHAC finally gained access to the shac@maine.edu email. So if you have anything related to SHAC related inquiries, please direct them to that email and not Tom's personal email. For club reports, Hillel is working on doing an event for OBC for Purim. The Spanish Club and Hillel were contacted by CASM, an organization supporting children through and beyond their parents' cancer, for potential collaboration. Halsa is currently planning their last event, Carnival, also presenting for funding. BSU and Halsa had the hair fair on Saturday, which had a successful turnout of 40 people overall. French card game. There's a French card game this upcoming Thursday, so contact elizabeth.oldfield@maine.edu for more information. Parag, the secretary, stepped down. The president is currently stepping away, so there's a current transition in the leadership. ASA will not meet during their regular time this Wednesday. Council also will not. They will go to the volleyball courts of the rec center on Thursday from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. So if you want to, please come. None of us know how to play volleyball. So yeah, and then Sam, they're planning a Holi celebration. The Japanese club, anything, and then the Model UN presented to SHAC, to the SHAC board about their organization whereabouts.
All right, moving on to the Feminist Collective.
Hi, everyone. I have a pretty brief report this time. We've had some scheduling issues as the semester has gone on, and so the Feminist Collective, rather than having our meeting, which is normally on Monday this week, we are going to be meeting this Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. before we depart on break. I am also excited to announce to everyone that we currently have the Google form out for anyone who would like to audition for UMA performance of the Vagina Monologues, which is something that the Feminist Collective is collaborating on with Triola. So if anyone is interested in that, then feel free to let me know and I can pass that along. Another little update for you guys that is an event related to like our kind of mission and stuff like that, is that there is a interfaith luncheon at the Wilson Center from 11:30 to 1 p.m. on birth as an act, metaphor, and paradigm. And so if anyone is interested in learning more about birth and that realm of sexual health, like we'd encourage you to check it out and report.
Moving on to Wildstyle.
Hi, everyone. Our auditions for the drag show did not go as well as we had hoped, primarily because there was a power outage until about 50 minutes before. So I honestly don't blame the low turnout on anyone. That's fair. But we are still accepting video auditions until Thursday at 4. The drag show itself is still March 30th at 7 p.m. in CCA. And we have started planning Lavender Prom and Lavender Graduation. End of report.
Moving on to the International Student Association.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, no, not good morning. It's not morning. I've had a weekend. It's anyways. So for past events, we had take the lead events where we have partnered with USMG members, with just Jacob Chaplin, Keegan Tripp, and John Guzman. We had a little bit of low turnout, but we still had garnered interest within student government, so yay to all those who came, thank you. And just in relation to that, again, if you have anyone that you know that is somewhat interested in student government, I implore all of you, just tell them what it's about. If you just don't have the time, send it to me, I'll talk your ear off about it with enough information so they can be interested. So there's that. In terms of new events coming up, so we are gonna be, ISA is gonna be having our grad dinner on the 11th of April from 5 to 7. We are also be having a collaboration with the Nepali Student Association on either the 22nd or the 29th. That date still has been solidified, but that's gonna be confirmed next Senate meeting. Oh, and one more thing, IDF, for International Dance has already been confirmed for next year. So, International Dance is gonna be happening on the 22nd of February. So I am hoping all of you may come. I hope. And we're just gonna be having our tech rehearsal on the 20th and the dress rehearsal on the 21st. So, and report.
All right, do we have any questions for the speakers? Going once, going twice, it is the pleasure of the Senate, we will now be going into our 5-minute recess, returning to 7:00. I call this meeting back to order. I am now looking for approval of the consent, Senator Peterson. I move to approve the consent. Second. If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into new business, starting with 45S EBC 26, an act to allocate funds to the Maine Mass for $1,210. Do we have a speaker?
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Emily Boyd. I'm the president of the UMass Council, and I stand before you here today because we are requesting funding so we can send 2 students to the USITT conference in Seattle, Washington. USITT stands for United States Institution of Technological or Theater Technology, and it's an amazing program that allows people in the industry as well as students to bridge together and network as well as learn about the new technology coming up in theater. There's many workshops as well as presentations about new technology. It is a great opportunity for networking as well as a chance to get a job for the summer and in the industry in general. And they have interviews on site as well as places to get your resume looked at, meet up, and just it's a wonderful experience.
All right, do we have any questions for our speaker? Senator Ricker?
Yes.
Any other questions? What is the committee's recommendation?
601 on the pass as amended.
Senator Peterson?
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into a period for discussion. Vice President Allen.
Maine Mass is putting some funds towards this event, in the amount of covering the rest of registration, and flights primarily through funding from the School of Performing Arts.
Any other points for discussion? Senator Peterson?
Point of information for VPFA Allen, what were the?
They were incorrect in totaling the amounts. So their request was submitted as $1,260, but their line items actually added to $1,210. So we had to amend the total.
Any other points for discussion? Debate. Senator Bone.
I was the one extension on ABC. I was just a bit hesitant based on it's only 2 people going and it's a pretty empty amount per person. But I do feel like them having funding from other sources and quite a bit of funding actually from their like department, it really did help with, you know, easing any issue I had.
Vice President Hoover.
It's also a fairly long trip. It's like 4 or 5 nights, yeah?
Yes.
So while the number is high for only 2 people, it only broke down to like 220 a night, which is fairly reasonable and falls within all of our policies that we typically stand by.
Any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed, all those abstaining, seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We will now be moving on to 44S EDC 034, an act to allocate funds to the Caribbean and Latino Student Alliance for $1,680. Do we have a speaker? Perfect.
Hello, Miss Alejandra. So yeah, we're asking for funding for Carnival, currently set to be on Saturday, March 23rd. We originally had it for the Woolly Room, but that's changed. It's also reflected in campus groups, so it's gonna be in the North Pod from 4 to 6 p.m. A little bit about it. Carnival is a big celebration celebrated in most Caribbean islands and also in Brazil. It celebrates to commemorate the end of slavery, and it's a huge dance festival. There's food, there's music, and it's a place of love and celebration. So we will be using the Hitchner Kitchen. It will be all volunteer cooks from multiple student organizations, CALSA, BSU, ASA, and we're also open to anybody else who would like to help cook. We're gonna be having a wide selection of foods. I'll list them off. The Brazilian foods will have farofa, caviar mineira, feijoada, rice, coxinha, and pão de queijo. If you don't know what that is, it's okay. It's delicious. For Caribbean foods, we'll have curry chicken, jerk chicken, peppered shrimps, and rice and peas. And then for Hispanic foods, we'll have pico de gallo, pastelón, fried spam and plantains, yuca fries, and empanadas. We will also be having vegetarian options. It will also include drinks, decorations, and then there will be a mask program that will be funded by CALSA, the meeting before the event. Sorry, yes, the meeting before the event. And we'll make like the decorations. If you've ever seen the Carnival, it's very like, there's a lot of costumes, wings, masks, headpieces, stuff like that. So we'll be making that. So we welcome everybody to join if you want to.
All right, do we have any questions for our speaker? Senator Rocky?
How many people typically come to your event?
So last year, we had a little bit over 150 people. This year, I'm hoping maybe 200 people we can get as it gets a little bit bigger.
Any other questions for our speaker? Going once, going twice. What is the committee's recommendation?
700 out to pass.
Senator Warren.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second. All right, if that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into a period for discussion. Vice President Allen.
We funded this event last year in the amount of $1,000. So there is precedent for us funding this event.
Any other points for discussion? Going once, going twice, points for debate. Senator Warren.
I think this is a really amazing event for all students to be able to learn about other cultures that are important to their peers. And I think it's really important and it's something that deserves to be funded by us.
Vice President Allen.
Yeah, I would also say that this is like definitely in line with what has been approved in the past, and it's always been a great event with a lot of attendance, especially with the success of Family and Friends Feast. In the fall, probably expect high attendance, so the request in this dollar amount is appropriate for how many people that they're going to be serving. So I think we should approve it.
Representative Levesque.
As somebody who has attended this and also, not quite as active as I would like, but I'm really confident as well. I think that this is a really great way of showing cultures that are not commonly represented here in the state of Maine, and I really hope that everybody here supports this plan.
All right, any further points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes.
The rest of this meeting would have been really awkward.
Moving on to 45S EBC 36, an act to allocate funds to the wrestling club for $2,900. Do we have a speaker? Excellent. The floor is yours.
So, yeah, we're asking for, I understand, a lot of money, but the reason we're asking for it is this is our national championship. So it's what we've been working towards all year. We've been practicing 5 to 6 days every week since the beginning of fall semester, with 2 of those being conditioning every week. So a lot of work. We've competed 5 or 6 times at different tournaments throughout New England at this point. So a lot of hard work has gone into getting the wrestlers we have going into this. And it's been a lot. We've had a lot of issues too with like getting forms in. That's why we're here actually tonight, as late as we are, for requesting this. Yeah.
All right, do we have any questions for our speaker, Senator Ricker?
How many athletes are going on the street?
We've four.
Perfect. All right, any other questions for the speaker? All right, Senator Harvey.
Will you be taking a direct flight to Louisiana, or will you be stopping somewhere else and having to drive with the band?
So we're flying to Dallas because it is in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, and Dallas is the closest major airport for us.
All right, any further questions? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
700 also pass.
Senator Martell,
I move to accept the committee's recommendation.
if that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into a period for discussion. Vice President Ober.
I believe this takes place in Shreveport because my dad is a very big fan and will be tuning in. But Shreveport, for those people who don't know and aren't from the South or have been to the South, is a tiny, tiny little airport in the woods. And I'm sure it was probably way more expensive to try to fly into Shreveport. Weirdly enough, New Orleans also doesn't work. So Dallas and then driving is probably honest to God the best and cheapest way to get to Shreveport from here. That's just context that I feel like it's actually one thing I'm qualified to provide in this specific scenario.
Right, any other points for discussion? Vice President Allen.
Yeah, so the wrestling club didn't meet the deadline, the Friday deadline to submit the forms, but they contacted me on Monday and said that they had some issues with leadership in their organization, and they didn't know about the deadline, so I allowed them to come to EBC. But everything was smooth sailing from there on out. The prices for everything that is in the resolution is well within our financial policies.
Any other points for discussion? Senator Kemper.
I believe this is the first year that you guys are going to nationals, correct?
Yeah, it's the first time in 5 years, I think, that we're actually competing, so.
Any other points for discussion? Going once, going twice, debate. All right, Vice President Chaplin.
I think it's a really rare and really rare opportunity for our clubs to be able to go to nationals, and it really represents a lot of hard work that their members are doing. So I really think that whenever one of these requests comes towards us, as long as it's within our precedent as it is, we should definitely support this and pass it through.
Any other points for debate? Senator Harvey.
I would like to say, or I'd like to advocate for this to pass, because I myself am in the wrestling club. I've been able to work firsthand with the people day to day, see how hard they work, how hard they push themselves constantly. I just believe that would be doing a great disservice to the athletes if we did not allow them to go into this trip as they've worked the entire year to reach this goal.
Senator Stewart.
Yes, I believe this man has shown good faith in appearing here today. It's made some very good points, and it'd be a shame if we didn't pass this, especially with all the hard work they put in and finally being able to make it to nationals. It's a no-brainer.
All right, any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We will now move on to 45F POL 35, an act to amend the standing rules of student government Inc. to garner engagement in the student entertainment committees. What? Did you say something to me? No. Okay. It's made a lot of noise. I don't know. You have the floor.
Okay, hello everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Dylan. I'm the ABPSC, so that's fun. This was just a job that I wanted to take on. I noticed that, well, earlier in the year, there was a situation where both Miles and I would be stepping down from our positions, but that's no longer the case. But in a year with a lot of turnover, I wanted to set up an idea of creating an actual SEC where if a situation like this happens, then there are people that know what to do and that are well prepared for this role, either of our roles. So this whole thing is to attempt to set up an SEC and an SLC. Yeah. What's the rundown? We can take questions.
Yeah, do we have any questions for our speaker? Vice President Allen.
I have a question for your team, Bill. Is it possible to project the resolution on the screen?
Yes,
Okay.
if I have it, I imagine it's an email, so yes,
Thank you.
no problem.
Yeah. This thing.
Yeah, try not to be like that.
Yeah, sorry. No, okay.
Yeah.
That'll be real.
Don't mind me, just go. I'll get it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, wait, no, POS.
There, it isn't in that.
Oh, that one. Does the poly co-chair happen to have a copy of the email that you sent to
Yeah.
DOT email?
Excellent.
I mean, I can go over it.
Be a hot minute.
You could start talking.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the first thing, in looking over the standing rules, I noticed, and I talked to, VP Kaplan about this, is that the SLC was not on any committee requirements, so the first, section is to include it, so if you were to join SLC, it would come for committee requirements. The next section talks about my job description. We didn't include the BPSC job description, but a lot of my job description requires me to work with an SEC, so I felt under that umbrella, it was only natural for me to try to stimulate and raise up in SEC, and yeah, you have it now. Yay.
Yes. Y'all can read that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know where you want me to
No,
scroll.
it's great. Can you scroll down, please? I think to the second page, maybe. So this is the meat and potatoes of it all. This is, introducing a voted on member from either a senator or a representative onto SEC to, as I said, ensure the sustainability of the committee. So I talked about amendments. So I originally, the original plan was to have the SLC included with what I'm about to say, but the SLC part got cut. But the original idea was to have it be 4 voting member or 4 voted on members and voting members from senators and treat it like all other executive committees, but that got cut down to 1. We felt it was good, and the other things were just changing the wording of it.
Right. Does anybody have any questions for our speaker? Senator Kemper.
How will these be voted in by the general?
Yes. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it'll be the nomination process that all other committees go through.
correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Senator Marcone.
Why did you originally think that 4 people should have been on this?
It was something that I just wanted to try to align it with all the other executive committees. I was willing to change it and we did.
Vice President Blumer.
Directed at anybody who can answer, but if this passes tonight, next Senate meeting will be theoretically see a nomination section for the SEC, or like when is this gonna take effect?
If there's nothing stating that it like takes effect at a later date, it takes effect upon being voted. So next Senate meeting, there will be nominations and election for all of those. Though I believe it's not, okay, I have a question. The SLC position isn't voted in, correct?
There is none. It's not up there. It's it got cut. I said that. Yeah, so it's not on there. It's not a part of it. So it's just an SEC position.
Oh, yes, well.
Oh, that part?
Yeah, the SL, yeah. Does it not amend that at all?
It doesn't include it for, it doesn't include it as like a voted on member, that.
Okay.
But
Oh, right, my bad, cool. Vice President Over.
I'm still confused. So there is no SLC committee that like has a Senate requirement on it now, Vice President Chaplin?
So I can just provide some clarification. So my committee just didn't get a lot of engagement last semester. We've been getting a little bit more this semester. The idea behind this bill originally, it had a thing on here that said basically like we would have four voting members be voted on that are senators in the SEC committee and the SLC committee as like a baseline membership. And it would still be open to more members just to get people to be committed in the beginning of the semester. And that part got cut. So my committee is still just anyone come and join, 11 a.m. on Wednesdays. Nice.
All right, Vice President Over.
Directed at Vice President Chaplin, do you think this is fair, or would you prefer to have like one voted on member to SLC?
I would prefer to have 2 voted on members to SLC to have a little bit of a commitment. I think it would be really good for this organization, specifically around recruitment, having senators be more engaged in that, but.
Vice President Allen.
I have a question for anyone who can answer it, slash like, yeah, anyone who can answer it, but what was the motivation behind cutting down the membership? Either.
So motivation for it was that, at a previous meeting, we really struggled to get a single person to accept the role that Senator Howard accepted, and that adding, as it was going to be 8 new required positions that needed to be filled and attended. That seemed like a lot to write in the standing rules, especially considering that, you know, once this year has a lot of turnover, a lot of the current senators are probably gonna run for executive positions, and then we'd be really hurting to fill in any of the positions. We also felt that the student leadership committee and how PolyPro had attended it in the past really worked as you go in there when you are passionate. If you have a passion project that you want to work on, you work on that kind of like on your own time with consultation with the VPSL, and how that kind of works the best, and that if it's required, then maybe the passion would come out of it.
Thank you.
Representative Friend.
Hey, this is for a question for AVP SE Lehman. The first thing I did want to say was I haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to see you here. And the actual question was in regards to the line, shall only be restricted at the discretion of the Vice President for Student Entertainment. Could you elaborate on what situations the restriction would be?
So that is directly copied from like the current standing rules. It's essentially the way that the committee works in the past, so that anybody can join. It's like, so you can just be like, hey, this is the time, this is the meeting, and the whole goal of the committee in that regard is to encourage just any student off the street to come in and join and have like their discussion with it. So it's the exact same wording where other than that person, anybody's allowed to join unless the vice president doesn't want them to be there.
Lauren, you might jump in here and say exactly what I was gonna say, but also the Student Entertainment Committee historically, they've dealt with specific like contracts of artists. And so I think that if the vice president who runs this committee has any sort of worry that there might be a breach of confidentiality,
on behalf of like one member of student government of the committee, or one member of the committee who's just like a general member of the student body, that like they should be able to have discretion over like who joins their committee for confidentiality reasons. I think that's part of the reason why it's taken more seriously.
Vice President Hall.
Just another quick point of privilege on that too. The way it worked my freshman year is that the BPSC had like an open sort of committee for a couple weeks. And then when the committees started planning things that included contracts, the committee was closed. And that they were discussing like elements of the contract and potential artists. And when artists are, when they're like going back and forth between signing the agreement, it's very important to the artist that their name like not be leaked. So the way that it operated was like the committee was open for a certain period of time, and then it was closed to only the members who had been like actively participating, I believe, to ensure confidentiality.
Advisor Sedalko.
Yeah, so I agree with both of you, that this is a very different committee than every other committee because of that kind of things and because of the amount of money and the confidentiality that's with it. I almost wonder, and this is completely outside of the box of what you're all trying to do right now, but I almost wonder if it might be worth a discussion to talk about subcommittees for the event of per event of some of the large events. So for example, we have a show that's coming up at some point in the future, I'm not gonna speak about. But there are some certain things that might come with that. There might be picking up the artist from the airport. There might be dropping off the artist to the airport. There might be a meet and greet. There might be dinners, things like that. Well, all of a sudden, when those things happen, senators come out of the woodwork that wanna help, right? Because that's fun. But there's a lot of hard work that goes with it too. So I almost wonder if you have certain events, if you have the ability to pull together a confidential subcommittee also that's full of senators that might somehow fit into your process at some point. Just something to think about, probably for the future.
Any further questions for the speakers? Going once, going twice. What is the committee's recommendation?
Q00 on the pass as amended.
And looking for Senator Gemmer.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second. If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We will now move into a period for discussion. Seeing none, debate. Senator Warren.
In my opinion, student leadership and entertainment are two of the biggest things that we do here. And I know that we haven't done the main event this year due to a whole host of reasons, but we still provide some really much needed community and experiences to our students. And I think that it just makes sense to be able to strengthen these committees and garner more support from our.
Any other points for debate? Going once, going twice, seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed, all those abstaining, seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Cool. Right, there is, unless there's been discussions otherwise, no main motion as far as I'm aware of. Speak now or hold your peace. Understood, no executive session either, so. There's not. That would be a motion to be. All right, no executive session. We'll now move on to special orders and announcements. Vice President Ober.
Just so the Senate knows, it was Vice President Chaplin's 22nd birthday yesterday. And I believe that Vice President Chaplin and President Dolores, this is a very special meeting for you, is it not? Because, can I say it? I don't know if like there's a specific amount, I don't know if I just thought about it earlier.
Say it.
It's their 100th meeting, yeah!
Well, you make their anniversary.
Yeah. 4 years of hard work and dedication for our service, or our organization, and we, are way better off than all the things and I myself, and many others who have served it, so thank you, and congratulations.
Ms. Nelson.
Don't forget, tomorrow at OBC at 5 o'clock starts Mac and Fees. Is it Thursday? I thought it was tomorrow. Is it Thursday? It's Thursday. Oh, sorry, my bad. Thursday. Yeah, you can go on Thursday. You can go there all the time, but you know, Thursday is one of the days.
Representative DeMarcus.
Just a quick little thing. I know everyone, we've been talking about these resolutions regarding our documents. It's amazing. It's, you know, it's very important in relation to what we're doing as a living institution, because these documents are what hold this group together. And I just wanted to point out something. If anyone has the ability to just go over the documents, and if you have questions, raise it with the executive committee, because, and I'm pointing it to Michael, I'm sorry I couldn't meet with you today, because I was going over one of the documents today, and I had like a whole bunch of questions in relation to what could be maybe addressed, because I don't know if it's like clerical issues or something, so, yeah, I just implore all of you, if you're able to read the documents, amazing, it helps you understand what's going on in the institution, like the rules we abide to, and also, if you have any issues that we just overlooked for whatever reason, we can address them and go over resolutions, so, yeah.
Point of privilege, that's something you would consult the policy procedure chair about, not the executive.
You can also find copies in your binders as well as there's printed out copies in the office at any time for all of our documents, just so you know, and online. Are our documents online on the website?
Not yet, but I can put those up.
They're gonna be online at some point this year, I promise. President DeLorean?
Quickly, I want to mention this Thursday, March 7th at 10 o'clock in Minsky Hall. President Farini Mundy is giving her State of the University address that's open to, I think, anyone. I would encourage all of you to go. I don't think it's been very well publicized. And I would encourage you to tell your friends. There isn't normally like a section for public comment, but there should be like a link to zoom in and watch. I just think that as student leaders, or if you know other student leaders, it's just a really good opportunity to get a pulse on what the university's priorities are, academically, in student life, just like how we kind of fit into the UMaine system. I think it's just like a really good educational experience for people to learn about if they're interested in learning about what the University of Maine has to offer its students, faculty, and the wider country, honestly, in terms of its research and impact. And a couple of execs will be attending that. If you have any questions, reach out to me.
This is a follow-up. It is gonna be broadcast on YouTube, and if somebody could throw that in Senate space, then you all have the link.
Yeah.
Yes. Senator Kemp.
I don't know what we thought Wilson Center event, so I'm gonna do it this week. Thursday, 6 to 8, we're doing our traditional weekly dinner dialogue, but this week the topic is on the document of discovery, which is basically a religious and legal justification for the seizure of land, by colonialists, and the continued seizure of land from Native American peoples. We're having John Rickenbacker, who's the executive director of Global Health Alliance, come and talk about it, and it's a really important topic, and I'm sure you'll know.
Representative DeMarcus.
Just a small little bit of information, so food and dining, again, we meet at 12:30 on Fridays in the Wade Center. Again, if you just want me to send an email along to Nate, I can do that. If you have questions, I hope I can get answered to the best of my ability, and yes.
Senator Butler.
You've not yet voted. You have 26 minutes to do so. At the council chambers on 59 Main Street North. Now please fulfill your civic duty and do so. Thank you.
Any further special orders or announcements? Seeing none, the final roll call.
Eden Crawford.
Excuse